the purpose of this video is I want to show you the basics of Adobe Acrobat Pro and why you might want to use this, because you can, if you have a Mac, it'll open in preview. A lot of times from Schoology, it will open on your website, but Acrobat Pro is going to give you a lot of advantages you otherwise wouldn't have. Now normally this program costs money, but through the wonders of SJ&D and Mr. McKee, you guys can actually get a license for it for free while you're a student, and there's just a form you fill out for Mr. McKee. I'll show you at the end. So what are some of the advantages of Adobe Acrobat? So normally when you go to a PDF, so let's say let's go back to Schoology real quick. So if I go into Schoology, okay, and I say want to see your textbook, right? It's going to take me to here. Now, when I open a PDF on the computer, it's going to look like this. And yeah, I can do certain things, highlight some text, but ultimately not a lot. I can't manipulate this much. But if I go to Adobe Acrobat, so you would download this, or if you're on a Mac, of course, it will just open it, and then you can save it somewhere, but that's kind of the first step. But then, once you go here, it gives you a lot of options on things you can do. So by default, it's going to put you here where you can see the pages. But one of the things I like with Adobe Acrobat, and I will put these into PDFs I give you, it gives you bookmarks. So you can actually create these. You can look up how to do that, but that's only if you were scanning your own stuff. But you can put in the headings for the book, and it's a good way to quickly see like what's in a chapter. So if you're doing outline notes, this is useful. On a Mac or on a PC, you can also pinch and zoom, which makes things a little quicker. And this book we're looking at here, this is actually one of the textbooks for AP Government. But again, I scanned this in and then I put in all these bookmarks. But this can be useful, and of course, just helps you kind of see things. Now, other useful features of this are, you'll notice here that the text is recognized as text. So if you just normally take a picture, you can't really do that. But if I double click on a word, I can then do this. And then I can, for example, get a word definition real quick. Takes me over to Google. If you do this on a mobile device, it actually will just show you, pop up a definition. But that certainly can be useful for you. But some other things it will let you do. Let's say you want to take notes. Now, if you look over here on let me just get some tools here. So if you look over here on the sidebar, you can see you have a lot of different tool sections, right? And that gives you some options. Now this collapses if you want more screen space, and you can even sort of, if you look down here, double collapse it. But for now, so let's say I wanted to make a comment. So if I click on a tool set here, it then notice it changes the top little menu bar here. So now I have access to all of these options that you can see here. Okay, and these are various different tools that you can use to make comments. So one you may want to use is, say you want to put in a sticky note. So I go ratification, and maybe I want to say, usually you use this with an amendment. Okay, and then you could post that comment. Then it actually is nice because it shows you where the comment is. Now, another option you could do, and I prefer this because it's easier to see my notes, I can add in a text box, and then I can put in a text comment like, this is a cool demonstration, if I'm Canadian. I don't usually worry too much about spelling. Then if I go back up here to my arrow tool, now I have saved my comment. Okay, and you can then go to another page. Two-fingered scrolling can help you do that. And you can also, of course, have highlighting tools, which is here. See, and then it will mark kind of, oh, you highlighted something here. And if you ever want to delete a comment, you can just go click on the three dots and hit delete. So all of those things can certainly be useful for you. Let me just clear out my comments. You can also just push the delete key. Not that you can see me doing that. So commenting tools. There's also a handwriting tool. You can certainly play around with this. You can actually custom make stamps. So you could say like something important. You can do some arrows if you wanted to show something being really important. Ultimately, whatever it is you would like to do is up to you. Okay, now, some other things you can do, though, that I really like, to close a tool set, you go here, is it also gives you options to rearrange pages or even extract things. So if you go to this organize, okay, you can see all your pages brought up. And let's say I wanted to select a few pages, and you can select pages in a row, or you could, if you hold down the Command key or the Control key, on Windows or PC, you can select a range of pages. Now at this point, you can do different things. You can extract a page, which will pull the pages out as a separate document. You could add blank pages if you wanted to. You could replace pages. You can actually split a document, which is something I use where I take big PDFs like this textbook, and I can split them up into different chapters. So you could do that on your own as well. I also use extract a lot if I want to pull a handout out of some other handout. So let's just do that real quick. I'm going to extract these, and then it'll say, I'm just not going to make them separate files. I'm just going to extract them. So now I've got a nice document that are pages of just this one, right? This particular document here. And that certainly can be useful as, you want to make a separate thing. The other kind of bonus thing you can do, I'm going to make two separate documents here, is you'll notice now that I have two documents. Okay, so I have my original document open, and I am going to make this half the screen, and then I'm going to make this the other half of the screen. Now watch this trick, because this is kind of slick. So if I close here, okay, I can actually move pages from one document to another, and I find this really useful too. Let me just see here. I'm going to open up my sidebar. So watch this, and I've done this too. So let's say you have two different documents you want to pull pages into. So if I go to my page view, which is right here, okay, I can take a page from here. If I hold on the top, I can drag it and move it over to this. So if you were collecting sources from a bunch of different PDFs, you could certainly move things one to the other. I use that as well. So again, this can be a way to collect research, collect notes, do things like that. Now, I'm going to close this document because we don't need it anymore. Let's make this back full screen. Now, another really useful thing you can do. Okay, I'm actually going to go over. I'm going to open a smaller file to show you how this works. But so let's say if I just open chapter 1 of your textbook. Okay, now watch this. This is useful. So if I want to make something into a Microsoft Word file, I can do that. So I can take a PDF and literally convert it to a Word file. And then it will ask me where I want to save it. I'm going to put this one on the desktop since it's just a demo file. And this is super useful. I use this all the time, things that people make PDFs. So now that it finished, you can go over and you can see what it did here. Now, the text isn't always perfect, the text recognition, but depending on the book, a lot of times it will be better than not. It sort of depends on what your source material is, but it can give you an edited version. Normally, I wouldn't recognize something like this. I would do something different. But anyway, and certainly for simple type things, that can be easier. Now, another useful tool, if you say take a picture of a document or scan something in, you can actually recognize the text. It's called OCR, optical character recognition, and you can in effect recognize the text, which is what I did with all these books. And again, it's not perfect, but I scan stuff in all the time and use it that way. So ultimately, if you are interested in this, and I would recommend you get it, there's a form from Mr. McKee. So the form from Mr. McKee, I'll put this link into Schoology, but it looks like this. You literally just fill it out and say, Mr. McKee, can you please set me up with Acrobat? And this actually gives you access to all the other Adobe programs too. So if you want to play around with Photoshop, Illustrator, Adobe Premiere, if you're doing some video, these are the ones I have installed for things I use. Anyway, and just, it's the higher end version of things. But this form is what you do, and that is Adobe Acrobat. There are more videos, of course, on YouTube and on their site for how to do even more advanced things, and you may figure out things I don't even know how to do.